G'day, Geoff Lewis here from Seriously Series, and welcome to another unique 4x4 episode. For those of you who aren't familiar with this series, what it's about is looking at vehicles that have been used in an off-road going application, but vehicles that also have a unique tale and unique stories associated with them. Here today we've got one such vehicle, a vehicle that has laid dormant for over a quarter of a century, but it now has a new lease on life and it's back out there on the open trails. So if you want to find out this and more, as always, you know exactly what to do. Click on that subscribe button down below, click on that notification button too, but most importantly, well, you know the drill. Stay tuned. Thanks for being a part of this today, Lindsay. Another unique 4x4 episode, and it's a fantastic Land Rover that we've got here today. You haven't had Land Rovers before, have you, Lindsay?
This is my first Land Rover. So it was in a carport down in Boulder. I think it's been there for 20 to 25 years. So I'd walk past it probably for sort of 12 to 15 years. I'm a member of the local model aeroplane club, so I was in Cliff's carport, flat tyres, the roof was deteriorating, looking sad, and then Cliff was leaving town, so I guess I just offered him some money for it.
And he took it?
He accepted.
Excellent.
And that saved him having to move it down to Perth, so I guess he was happy too.
Yeah. And so what sort of, I guess, what's the appeal of the Land Rover for you? Was it the fact it was just sitting there for such a long time, or?
Okay, so when I looked at the vehicle and poked my head in the window, I could see it was just really complete, original, hadn't been mucked around with too much. As a kid, I'd been on scout camps in Land Rovers, so I guess I like Land Rovers in that way, and I recognised that with the square cut on the guard that it was an army model. On green's an obvious clue there too, but yeah, so after we struck a deal and I came home and told my wife, I knew that she would be not very happy about that. And
you're still married, aren't you?
I'm still married.
Oh.
It's just easier to seek forgiveness than permission.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah. And so you mentioned it sat for 20, 25 years. Like that's a fair bit of time. You got it going again, obviously, because we're out here in the out bush once again. What did you have to do to get it up and running again? Was it quite extensive, what you had to do to it?
Well, with my lack of knowledge of cars, really, I did all the things that I knew needed to be done. I took the master cylinders off, cleaned them up, painted them, replaced them, got the radiator recored, put a battery in it, turned over, which is good, and I proceeded to put my hand up to get some help. So I had Geoff come around and help me, I had little Pete from around the corner come and help me, my mate Anthony came and helped me, and with all those people, 3 people and the help, it just fired up ever so easily, and as it turned out, whether it was Cliff or whether it was someone being a smart ass, they'd rearranged the plug leads and so it wouldn't start. Once the firing order was correct, it fired up sweet as can be.
Wow, wow. Because you see some of the stuff, because I know you read classic Land Rover magazine like many of us, and you see the extent that some people have to go to just to get their car or their Land Rover back from the dead and on the road. It's remarkable that literally all you could have done is change a few spark plug leads around and it would have been fine.
Yeah, the fuel pump was buggered, so that was replaced. The fuel lines, they'd gone like black tar. But I suppose my favourite workshop tool was a hot air paint gun, and so I just heated up the fuel line, and this black ooze of toothpaste came out the end of the fuel line. A few squirts of carby cleaner, it ran clean, fresh fuel, and that was all was required.
All right. And so once you had that done, obviously now it's registered.
Yeah.
That was a big step in itself, wasn't it? Getting it back on the road.
I felt it was close. I didn't know what more I needed to do, so I just took it down to the garage to be inspected. I got given 4 things which I had to replace and repair, which was pretty minimal really. There's a rubber gearbox mount, there's a steering dampener on the front, the speedo, which is a bit of an issue, so thanks to Pete, he loaned me his speedo from his Land Rover. Rips in the seats, which seat covers fixed that. Back for another inspection and number plate.
And you put obviously a new canvas on top too.
Oh, well that was a drama.
That was, wasn't it?
It was. I was ripped off by a bloke in Queensland. That's another story within itself, and there's a whole group of people on that bandwagon as well. But yeah, just to get a roof on it, to keep the weather out, I just went and bought one from the UK, and it fits nicely. It doesn't match the original Army one, which I would have liked, but that's just how it goes.
No, it looks great, Lindsay, and I love it, the fact that, well, it's perfect just the way it is, isn't it? You don't need to change a thing, you know.
I like it with its sort of peeling paint and its corroded galvo.
It looks like it's been on some adventures, and it looks like a 50-year-old car, which is exactly what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, yep. Love them how they are. So now it's on the road. What's your plans for it?
The front brakes are a pain because the bleed nipple on these is at the bottom. So it might be good to have disc brakes, and I thought I'd rip out the motor and put in a crate LS9.
Oh, you'll get some comments on that. Lots of thumbs up.
I'm just pulling your leg. I just leave it as it is.
Yeah. No, that's the way. And any trips? Have you done any trips since you've had it registered at all? Or?
Had a little trip out bush to a prospecting camp.
Yep.
It was just overnight, a couple of beers around the fire. That's
Perfect.
a great little camp out there.
Yeah.
That's on the Trans-Access train line, so you sort of, that's a train line that joins Australia east to west. Same sort of countryside as you can see here.
Yeah. And no issues?
No issues to speak of. We'll probably sort of work on getting the tank on the passenger side going, but again, one tank's fine for now.
Yeah.
I'm just happy it's on the road.
Yeah. You can just enjoy it. And what about Cooma next year? Would you take it over to Cooma?
If things go well, after some probably more kilometres and some fine tuning, I'd like to go to Cooma. I'd feel like a Johnny come lately to be there, given I'm just probably new to Land Rovers as such, and a series Land Rover at that. But all being well, yeah, I'll be getting a ticket to go.
I'm sure you'd be welcome there, Lindsay. Lots of cups of tea, lamingtons and free beer, no doubt.
Sounds good.
It sounds good. And for those of you who don't know, Cooma here in Australia is where they have the annual, or it's becoming every 10 years it used to be, but now I think it's every 5. They're doing the 75th Land Rover anniversary there next year. So Lindsay's obviously going to be there. We hope so. And hopefully Damon and myself will be there too. But look, thank you so much for showing us around this fantastic vehicle, Lindsay, and asking for me to come along and help out with it too and be a part of getting it back on the road, because the more of these vehicles that are on the road, the better, I think. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Geoff.
No worries. Catch you around.